Hello children, welcome to the second module. In this module we are going to continue with the chapter The Footprints Without Feet by H.G. Wells. In the previous module we saw how Griffin left London and came to a nearby village called Epping. So now let's continue reading further. As Griffin decided to leave London and go to a small village nearby Epping, he took a train and booked 2 rooms in a local inn. The event of a stranger coming and staying at the inn in the winter night was not a normal thing to happen in Epping, and everybody started talking about it, also because Griffin looked very strange. The landlord of the inn where Griffin stayed, Mrs. Hall, made a lot of efforts to be friendly with Griffin, but he did not want to talk. He clearly told her that his reason for coming to Epping was for peace and quietness, and he did not wish to be disturbed in his work. Also, he told her that an accident had affected his face, due to which he had to cover it. Mrs. Hall accepted that her new guest was a strange scientist and was ready to excuse his temper and habits as he had paid her in advance. Then the time came when his money was over and he had no ready cash available for further payment at the inn. He had to pretend that he was waiting for a cheque which could arrive at any moment. Then something really strange happened. The clergyman and his wife were awakened by some noises in their study room. When they were coming downstairs, they could hear the sound of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. The clergyman held a metal rod in his hand and flung the door open, and as soon as he opened the door he said surrender, as he thought he had caught the thief. But to their surprise they couldn't see anyone. They looked under the desk, behind the curtains, and also up the chimney, but the person was nowhere to be found. Yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was gone. Then the clergyman kept on saying extraordinary affair the whole day because he was shocked by the incident. But the things that happened with Mrs. Hall's furniture were much more fascinating. Mrs. Hall and her husband woke up very early and were surprised as the door to the guest room was open. Usually his room's door remained closed and locked. He used to get very angry if anyone tried entering his room. It was an opportunity and Mrs. Hall did not want to miss it. They decided to investigate when they saw that nobody was inside the room. His bed sheets were cold, which showed that he must have been up for a while, and also all the bandages that he used to tie around his face were lying around the room. Suddenly Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear, and Griffin's hat that was lying on the bedpost flung towards Mrs. Hall and hit her on her face. Then the chair in the room dashed itself, hitting Mrs. Hall in her legs. As they got scared, Mrs. Hall and her husband were going out of the room when the chair closed the door and suddenly a sound of slamming the door and locking were heard. This terrorized Mrs. Hall and she was about to fall down from the stairs. She was convinced of the thought that there were spirits in her inn's room and that the stranger had caused this to happen. She mourned that her mother used to sit in the chair which hit her legs and thought that how could it rise up against her. The neighbors of Mrs. Hall thought that it was witchcraft which had caused such a thing to happen. Now let's wind it up here and let's see what happens further in the story in the next module. Thank you.